Lesson 11, this is day 3. Today we're going to talk about the quadratic formula. Probably most of us have had experience with quadratic formula from Algebra 2. We were just said, hey guys, here's this really cool formula. It works. And it works all the time. That's what it says. When it's done correctly, it will always give a solution to a quadratic function, real or even imaginary solutions. Guys, it's the same as when we did completing the square. You guys never came across a problem in completing the square that did not work. We were able to at least solve and find a value of x. So today, it's the exact same thing. I don't know how I got the space in here. I need to back the space out, but I can't, so I'm going to slide this picture up so that I can work with it. But basically, I'm going to tell you this. If you build it, you can use it. And so, what if I told you that the quadratic formula is just completing the square? Because it is. And so, most of us, when I say, hey guys, solve this by completing the square, you guys get all upset. But as soon as I would say, hey guys, you could use your quadratic formula if you want, you're like, okay, I'll do that instead. Basically, if you know the quadratic formula, you've just remembered the shortcut way, in a way, or all the steps into one spot of completing the square. And I'm going to show you that in a second here. So what we're going to do is we are going to take 0 equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Does everybody understand or remember that standard form of a quadratic, aka a parabola? A, B, and C in this problem would stand for numbers, right? And they're real numbers. So it could be 2x squared minus 3x plus 4, right? Everybody's seen those types of problems. We've solved them before. We've factored them. We've done completing the square now, and those things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this, and we're going to just use those 7 or 5 or 6 steps of completing the square with this, all numbers taken away. This is what you would consider to be abstract in a way, like algebra, right? I'm just using my algebra skills with variables. And so, here we go. I'm going to move this so I have some work room. First step in completing the square was what, guys? Subtract the c or get the x's by themselves. So, that's easy enough. Yes, that would mean move c to the other side. So I get negative c equals ax squared plus bx. And that's it. Yes? Okay, what was step 2 again?
Divide by a.
Divide by a. Why is it divide by a?
Because you want to get the x squared by itself.
Yeah, I want to get the x squared by itself. I need to make sure a equals 1, right? But can I look at a and say, I'm only going to let it equal 1? Well, if that's the case, then I should not have it there. But I can't guarantee that. And so the only way that I can guarantee that a variable is going to be 1 or not there is to get rid of it. So to get rid of a times x squared, I am going to divide. But what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So is everybody with me so far? This is nothing ground shaking yet. So, I think everybody should agree that the left-hand side would be a negative c over a equals x squared plus b over a x. You're right. So is everybody okay with that? Now, normally, every single problem that I have done with this process, when a was 1, what did I do to both sides right away?
Divide it by...
No, we already divided.
Well, 1 side by 1 half.
Okay, we're getting there, we're getting there. I always just kind of helped myself remember what to do next.
You did a plus and then a...
Yeah, I did the plus with the spaces, right?
Mm-hmm.
So guess what? I didn't leave myself enough room. So I'm going to do that. So, I know that since x is, or x squared has a 1 in front of it, I know I'm going to add something to both sides. And according to what Abby was saying, it's what? Half of the b term, right? 1/2 b squared. But what's b? B is not b anymore. B is the b over a. Yes. And so it's kind of hard to say, oh, I'm going to take half of that. So instead, I'm going to multiply it by a half. And if I multiply 1/2 times b over a, I am with
B over 2a.
b over 2a. So is everybody okay with saying b over 2a squared on this side? But remember, we always left it inside the parentheses on the side with the x's. On the other side, we actually did the squaring, right? So what is b over 2a squared? It's b squared over
4a squared.
4a squared. Everybody still with me? Try not to go too fast here. I want everybody to comprehend that we're just completing the square. Trick. So now we're to the point, guys, where we added half of b squared to both sides. So now we need to factor one side and simplify the other. The coolest thing about this is I taught you the technique for the side with the x's. It's really easy to factor this. What does it become?
X plus b over 2
You got it.
squared.
Squared.
Nice.
Equals.
Equals. Now we have to put those together. To put those two fractions together, they have to have a common denominator. What is the common denominator between 4a squared and a? 4a squared? So one of them's already a 4a squared, the other one's an a. How can I make a 4a squared? Multiply by 4a. What I do to the bottom, I need to do to the top.
So negative 4ac. What?
I didn't change anything, guys.
And then plus
Minus
4
or plus
4ac. No. Yeah. Over 4a squared.
Okay, I'm going to pause it to explain. Guys, now I'm going to put it together. Going to put this red stuff together. B squared minus 4ac all over 4a squared equals x plus b over 2a squared. All I did was combine the left-hand side. Okay? Now I can actually solve for x. But to get x by itself, I need to get rid of the what? The square root, or square.
Which means you square root
So I need a square root.
both sides.
But when I take a square root, don't forget
Plus or minus.
plus or minus. Is everybody okay? Or following? We've done that many, many times. But when I square a square root, and vice versa, those are gone. So I have x plus b over 2a equals a square root of a fraction. Wait a minute, how do you square root fractions? I square root the top, I square root the bottom. The top, guys, does not look very nice at all, so I'm going to leave it as plus or minus. The plus or minus, guys, go to the top or goes to the bottom. I'll take it to the top. b squared minus 4ac all over. The bottom can be simplified. The square root of 4a squared is 2a.
I know what this is.
Okay, I'm going to...
You have to times the 2a, right?
We already did square root.
We already square rooted. I now have to subtract b over 2a. Guys, The same rules apply. When I move something away from x, it goes where? It goes to the other side, okay. But there was a certain place I told you. Yes, in front.
Oh,
So it's minus b over 2a
plus.
plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac
Over 2.
all over 2a. Or that's over 2a. Equals x, right? But here's the thing. We got common denominators. Can't I just put it all over one of them? And so when I do that,
No, you guys.
when I do this, is it just x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over that common denominator of 2a. Guys, that is the quadratic formula. What we'll do here, guys, is we're going to talk about how do you use the quadratic formula.
This is crazy.
There are 4 steps, guys, that I want you to use. The first one being, I want you to set your quadratic equal to 0. It only works if the quadratic is equal to 0. Only. Very important. 2, I got a feeling that some of us would lose what A, B, and C are if we don't write them down. So you should list A equals this, B equals this, C equals this. And guys, never, ever put an x or an x squared as A, B, or C. It's the coefficients in front. If we work with 100 problems that deal with using the quadratic formula, you will write it down 100 times. I want you guys to commit it to memory, and I want you to be able to actually take the 5 seconds it takes to write it down every time. Then you play coach, fill it in, evaluate. Order of operations. First step, guys, says set it equal to 0. Is that already done for us? Other versions you might see of this, the 3 could be on the other side. Make sure to subtract 3 from both sides to get it to look like this. Or an x squared, or x's are on both sides. And so, that's done for us. The next thing I want you guys to do is I want you to actually tell me what A, B, and C are. A equals 2, not 2x squared. Negative 4 and negative 3. Is everybody okay with this? Notice the coefficient, not the variable. So if there was no 2 in there, what would A be?
1.
It would be a 1. Okay. There's always a B, and a C. If C is not there, what is it? It's a 0, not a 1. Because it's a constant, it's not there, it's a 0. Step 3, write down the formula. Guys, take 5 seconds and write it down now. I should hear nothing on this video when we play it back.
Bless you.
Circling it and drawing a line is not what I want to see. I want to see it written down every time. Negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. That should be committed to memory for the rest of your life. Okay, now, we play coach. Fill it in. X we don't know. That's what we're trying to solve for. Opposite of negative 4. Homework will be in the video, guys. Have a great weekend. Don't do anything stupid. Plus or minus, guys, please be quiet. I'm still recording. Square root of negative 4 squared minus 4, notice I'm using parentheses every time, times a, which is 2, c is negative 3, all over 2 times 2. Now all I have to do is evaluate this.
Evaluate it.
So we're evaluating. Opposite of negative 4 is 4 plus or minus the square root of negative 4 squared. 16. Now, this is where the tricky part comes into play. Our subtracting of 4 times 2 minus 3, I will automatically know that I'm multiplying two negatives. I change into positive. I don't make mistakes. 4 times 2 times 3,
24.
adding 24. All over
2A. I mean 4.
4.
Sorry.
Now,
You're lacking.
now we take 16 plus 24 and we get,
40.
so it's 4 plus or minus the square root of 40 over 4. Hey, square root of 40 is not a nice number. So therefore, you should reduce it. Wait, let's go over here. Sidebar. 40 is made up of 4 and 10. 2, 2, 2 and 5. Do we have partners to go to the dance here? We have these guys. So 4 plus or minus 2 times the square root of 10
My bad. I'm sorry.
all over 4.
I don't know.
Hey, wait a minute. Wait. I can factor a what out of the top?
4.
No. A 2. So be 2 plus or minus the square root of 10 all over 4. And then the 2's can. So the answer, I'm on a space. So the answer, x equals
2 plus or minus square root of 10.
square root of 10 over 2. You are done. That's completing the square. Have a great day. I'll get the homework here second. So homework, lesson page 88, that's day 3, 8 through 10, 13, 24, and 28. Have a great day.